to Kaichi Alchemy. You can call me Kachi. This is a space of love, y'all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the cosmos today. I want to thank y'all for showing up. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for co-creating community with me. I appreciate those comments, shares, likes, subscribes, comments, did I say? As they help me to expand my reach and help more people. This is going to be a collective message, so please only take what truly resonates for you and your situation. You can take part or all of the message using your discernment and your intuition. Here, I'm just gonna have all of us take or close our eyes for a second, take our hands to our hearts and do a brief 1 breath meditation, however that feels nice for you. Great, beautiful. That was very helpful today. Definitely could use that more than most days. This is going to be an interesting reading. I have got so many downloads over the last week that I don't think I will get around to all of them. And in fact, I am not even 100% sure what organization to put them in. And so it's really, I think, part of the energy that there's so much going on that you want to do something about, but you're having a hard time moving forward because the way that you are processing it is not necessarily working for you right now. Or I don't know, there's a couple different directions you could take that. But today I'm going to be tuning into the Leo energy. And I usually do a really good job of being very intentional for you guys here, like really separating myself and taking my own stuff out of the space so that I can really tap into your energy and what is specific to your situation right now. And I was having an exceptionally difficult time doing that today, or recently. And I had really this sense that Spirit was pushing me to take a slightly different approach this time. Like there's always, anecdotal stories about my life or something that I might share here and there, but the energy itself is really separated. Right now, I cannot separate myself from this energy for some reason, and I'm being told that that is for a purpose and that it's going to be useful to someone out there. So I'm going to trust that today and we'll see what comes together here. The biggest thing that really started pushing through immediately was all of this MJ energy, it was the king of pop, and it just kept coming, and I kept trying to take other angles and all these, I was pushing it off. I was pushing it away. I was, I was disrespecting Spirit's guidance because I just kept being like, God, Spirit, are you serious? I don't want to go there. Like, it's gonna bring up so much and reactions and like preconceived notions. Like, people are gonna throw things out if they don't like the way that I am framing things. And I mean, I'm sure if you haven't been living under a rock for any amount of time recently, you are aware of how much controversial energy there is when it comes to Michael Jackson. And it is especially pointed for me because I don't do well. Like, I struggle with I struggle with putting my words, thoughts, opinions, position out there, and then being misunderstood or like being categorized as an enemy, or, you know, like without that intention or expectation that it would go down that way. But it just kept coming through. So, you know, we're gonna do what we will with that. Sometimes we get into some darker topics here. But I think it's really interesting that it was Michael Jackson that kept coming through so strongly to me, just in that, you know, it is the most Leo possible energy in the universe. Leo is the entertainer. Leo is the child. Leo is the life force. Leo is singing and dancing. And there's just so many themes that make sense in there. So, okay. I'm going to face my discomfort. And I'm just gonna do this and be here, and it'll find who it needs to. I know some of my favorite messages I've ever received, most impactful to me, have definitely been from people struggling to get their message through that day. And so it's like definitely an energy of don't roll over, you know? But it's more complicated than that. There's a little bit of like that energy from the Gemini reading a couple of weeks ago that's very similar or related, so you may possibly want to watch that reading as well. I think it's called Cut the Sandbags. And there may or may not be something in there for you. So, you may have some, you know, relation to some sort of Gemini energy, which makes sense because Gemini energy is about the community, right? And the way this energy was coming through to me is that the Leo archetype is very much wanting to be there for the community. Like, to be the sun, to be the center of attention, to be the battery power, to be the generator, to, you know, And that can be extremely powerful and amazing and awesome. Leo, the medicine of Leo is about like stepping into that positive energy of entitlement as far as like a healthy child goes, who feels entirely like they belong here, they deserve their needs and their wants and their desires to be addressed. They value themselves, they value what they have to share, and they inspire everybody around them to be more and to be themselves and to be more of themselves by leading by example. And that's why Leo has a lot of leadership energy associated with it as well. And so again, similar to the Gemini, is like the struggle, the shadow side, the potential danger of Leo energy is that you can end up in this position of like wanting to be that child, but not having that kind of mindset and not having that kind of experience in your body and your mind. And so it's kind of a show. It's not like a performer, like a singer, songwriter, like having fun. It's like an actor doing a Zit cream commercial. It's like, I'm gonna study, assess, understand the people around me, the expectations around me, the reactions around me, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to best serve my needs and to best serve the people around me. But when you're coming from that place, when you don't have that genuine self-worth in action deep enough, because Leo is a very challenging thing to build up in a positive way, but once you do it, it's one of the most beautiful, powerful things that there is, and we need it so much. But, you know, bad, negative Leo energy can be real, it's such an overused word, but, you know, like kind of narcissistic, self-involved, and really that kind of self-involved that is all about being obsessed with your image, being obsessed with the self that other people perceive of you. And there are positive aspects of that, and you don't want to throw that out entirely. But if you notice that you are particularly locked in to this thought pattern or this approach to your Leo part of your chart, then I would definitely say that it's important to address it by working on your own self-motivation, your own, what's it called, like self-validation, giving yourself the attention, the validation, the support that you're trying to get out of other people by being what you feel or think that they need or want from you. You just give yourself the support that you need so that any interaction you have with the community around you is truly by choice, extra add-on positivity, as opposed to them fulfilling your desperate need. I am gonna, let me light this candle because I know it's a bit dark in here. May be useful going forward. We'll see. But I had found this toy the other day at work from somebody's like Raising Cane's meal thing, and Raising Cane's may be some kind of confirmation for you or whatever. But so there's 3 parts to this. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. I don't know what it's called. Oh boy. A little unwieldy unwieldy sometimes. But the main imagery that I got, aside from just all of the Michael Jackson stuff, which we'll get to in a minute, was this. Usually I'll get like smells or visuals or something in a meditation, but this time it kept being like physically present, like things about Michael Jackson that kept popping up for no apparent reason all of a sudden, all at the same time in my physical day-to-day life. And then something physical that ended up in my physical life. It's very like action, fire energy. It's very real. It's very, oh, that's not the right way either. Okay, let me make sure I put this together right. So real quick, there are 3 parts to this toy. There is, let's call this the rod, let's call this the wheel, and let's call this the support. That works. Okay, so we have the rod. The rod provides a space for the support to land, to steady itself, and then the wheel, excuse me. In this analogy, the wheel represents the sun. The child, the Leo energy. As I'm sure you can imagine, the rod represents the father energy. And the support kind of represents the mother energy and archetype. And so when you make this wheel, when you shoot your shot with this wheel, you've got the rod guiding the direction and the intention. You've got the support that is guiding the wheel into forward movement and action along this rod of intention. And so as the support pushes and lifts up, it can launch the wheel out where it needs to go. And so basically I was getting that you have either learned or maybe naturally tend to work well with, embody the energy of the rod, of the father, of the intention, of the goals, of the mental fortitude, of the understanding and the logical side of things. And like, this is the plan, this is the direction. And you are pretty well versed in your child energy. Hard to not be when you have a strong Leo placement in your chart. Sun, moon, rising, Venus, whatever it happens to be. Could be any other placement for that matter. But when you just have the rod and the sun, you have nothing very interesting or useful or productive, or like the value in this toy comes from all 3 of these elements working together. And so I see that you have developed a certain level of mastery, definitely of the rod, a certain aspect of the child, but this mother energy, this support, I get the sense that you are leaning on other people in order to push you forward. You have a goal, you have a plan, you have the energy and the drive and the action and the life force, but you don't know how to direct it effectively right now because you rely on other people to function in this support role, in this mother role. And so if you are able to learn how to build up this support energy in yourself, for yourself, by yourself, you know, Leos don't want to be alone. They don't want to be hyper independent. That, you know, they really care about the people and the attention. And so it's scary to put energy into things that might seem to take you further away from that. But it's kind of a paradox to get into the position that you want and need to be in, to fully step into your power and your positive polarity of this archetype. You need to become the whole package. You need to become a triple threat. You need to become your own mother. Sorry, I think I pulled some popcorn off the ceiling there. You need to become your own fully integrated, closed loop system, psychologically, physically, financially, internally, like whatever is standing out to you right now. You know, I'm feeling like we should get an animal spirit card. So let me shuffle that out for a second and find what Spirit's got for you today. Thank you for being here again, beautiful Leos. That came immediately out right away. That I've never seen that happen, especially with this deck. That was crazy. Okay, on the bottom of the deck we have Nightingale. So it's like very much about singing your song. Like, I haven't actually read the guidebook about it, but Nightingale may also be some kind of confirmation for you perhaps. But the buffalo is in the earth section here, and there is a real brief description, so I'm going to incorporate that real quick and see what Spirit has for you, animal spirit guide wise. Okay, buffalo. Grounded yet heavenly, practical yet spiritual. Oh, there's a lot of ways I could go with that. Anyways, the hooves of the mighty buffalo are grounded in the earth, yet its heart and mind rise toward heaven. The buffalo sees challenge, hardship, or a bump in the road as an opportunity for upliftment. Therefore, the buffalo does not fear death, illness, or misfortune. Its gentle eyes look to the road ahead, trusting every turn. May we all experience this elusive yet life-changing bliss from time to time, and may we allow this card to remind us that life is a precious gift. When in balance, trusting and pure presence. When out of balance, restless and lacks gratitude, to bring into balance prayer or bhakti, and bhakti. And bhakti is like love yoga. You can look that up if it feels especially relevant to you. But yeah, so prayer, focusing in on yourself, being resourced within yourself, connecting in with your higher self without the interference of the signals of other people around you. When you're in this balanced buffalo energy, you trust people and you're present with them, and because of that, you're not constantly thinking, scheming, really, strategizing, really. It's almost like a Seven of Swords energy. And you may feel like you have good intentions, but people don't really appreciate the scheming, regardless of whether or not you feel like you have good intentions. And so if you are able to trust and be present with the people that you are around, then you will feel so much more grounded in yourself, so that you are more capable and more resourced, more capable of doing the things you need to do to support yourself. If you are restless because you're trying to think of like, how do I present myself the way that I want to be seen? How do I add value to this community even? If you're hyperfixated on that, you're lacking gratitude for the moment, you're lacking gratitude for the people and the value that they bring that's right in front of you right now. You're lacking gratitude for so much, and you're so in your head about the future. Maybe the past too, if you're like analyzing the past, trying to project into the future. Right now, it can be really helpful to just be here right now, which is always great advice for any group of people at any point in time, but especially you, especially right now. And prayer can be a really useful tool in that process for you right now. So, let's see. Obviously, Michael Jackson is a divisive figure. And there's some energy here about releasing your fear around being seen in any certain light that you're trying to avoid being seen in. I also get this energy of like stepping into what feels right to you, what aligns with your own soul and moral compass, what have you, without getting lost in how other people twist it, because people are going to twist it. Like, even if you try really hard to control how people perceive you, they're still gonna get it wrong. Often, maybe. And maybe in a really, really rough way. And so it's really not so much about trying to prevent that, because the actual physical part of people misunderstanding you is not the problem. The stress from that situation comes from your reaction to it. And your reaction to it is the only thing you have control over. So you can proactively learn how to support yourself in staying grounded and not getting carried away by the reactions of the people around you. And so, just like Gemini, I think it can be challenging for Leos to just say, I feel this, I want this, I think this, and just do it. But that is the healthiest version of Leo energy. It is this like fearless, fully present, it's this child energy. And it's this child energy that most of us have not experienced as children, or like, even children outside of us. We don't have a lot of examples for what this looks like, so it can be challenging to step into. But it's all about developing self-worth. It's all about connecting with your guides, your spirit, your higher self through prayer and whatever works for you in that way. Balancing this grounding energy and this like heavenly life force energy. So it's like the earth is the rod, is the father, the sky, the sun, the child, the father's like the past, the child's like the future, and the mother's like the present moment. And the present moment connects the future and the past and helps them to coordinate in a way that works well for all beings involved, all parts involved, all aspects involved. So definitely focus on just taking action without analyzing how it will be taken by other people. And I was kind of getting a very similar message for Cancer last week, but it was more about like, speak your truth and what you have to say before, like, don't overthink it, and speak it before you even know the words that you're going to say, before, like, just let it come from your heart, just come out of you. And don't fear that it'll come out the wrong way, because that's the best way to get further away from what you want. So just go. That was kind of the message there, but it was about communication. And this is kind of similar, but it's very much about action. So there's some action that you can and will and are going to take that you feel a soul level calling to pursue, but you're coming up against resistance, and you may even think it's like outside sources that are the source of this resistance, but really it's you are the resistance. Your reactions are the resistance, and you are attracting and drawing in external representations of that resistance because you are resistant to not being the center of the universe. You are the center of your universe, and we need that, and we need you, and we appreciate that, and please be that, please be that. But if you try to be the center of the universe, meaning literally right in the center of every single person, every single, like, identity group, like, you cannot please everybody, basically. And so when people try to go around and please everybody, they end up hurting a lot of people, because they end up in this real Seven of Swords energy, like trying to contort themselves to be something that isn't natural to them, because the feeling of being at the center is natural to them. And so they're like trying to meet this need, right? Okay, so Michael Jackson's divisive. Love him, hate him. Some people are like, hate his fans, and some people hate his haters. And like there's so many layers to all of that. Hopefully y'all can hear all right with the AC. I'm not gonna turn it off yet, but maybe I will next time if you let me know in the comments below that it's an issue. But yeah, so he very much moved forward with what felt right to him by his inspiration, by his inner moral compass. Like, he didn't go by his parents, he didn't end up going totally in that like Jehovah's Witness tradition. Like, there are definitely things that he did not live up to in his family. There are definitely things that he did not live up to in the way he pursued his art and his career and the things that he was doing that made some people unhappy. But he just kept moving forward, and he just kept going by that inner light and trusting it and trusting in himself and believing that if he followed that inner calling, that would lead him where he needs to go. And I would dare say he probably thinks of it in terms of like God, but whatever terminology you use, tune into that North Star that is about you, because you are the center of your universe. You're supposed to draw in and create a reality around you. And if you're trying to find where the center of reality is so you can shove yourself in there, you don't belong there. Somebody else maybe belongs there, and you're like taking their spot or something. You're like delaying things. It's just not helpful. It's just not useful. Imagine if Michael Jackson tried to be more mainstream, how much less successful he would be, how much less of a following he would have had, how much less he would have resonated with people, That's crazy to think about. It's a paradox, but That's how it works. People really love and really vibe with seeing people lead by example in regards to self-love, in regards to self-expression, in regards to taking aligned action based off of your soul's calling. And so I don't know exactly what all of that means in your particular situation, but you do. And you have this like Martian energy, this drive and fire trying to push you to do something right now. And you're even maybe trying to do it. But this resistance is coming because you haven't fully seen and acknowledged and accepted and processed and released your fear of being not accepted by everybody. And if you can come to accept that you will not be accepted by everybody, you cannot be accepted by everybody, you will not be loved by everybody, and if you try, you will hurt yourself and you will hurt everybody else and you will make the world not such a great place. And you know, we have all the time in the world, and there's no like shame, judgment call on that. But hey, wouldn't you rather be happier, healthier, freer, more valuable and useful in the world, more happy and comfortable with yourself? So you don't need to run this, whatever it is, action through me. I don't need to approve it. Even energetically, I don't need to know what's going on there, because I know that you matter, and what you have to offer is being held back by your fear of not being seen and loved. There is something about Leo energy that's especially sticky for me to work through. And I am being guided to share this. It is a little personal. But there was a boy that I pined over for 7 years, who I met when I was an older teenager, and he was a smack dab in the middle of Leo, like the 1st of August, kind of like right in there. And your sun sign doesn't always say everything about you, but Leo is the sun. So if your sun is in Leo, that's pretty impactful. And I am an Aquarius rising, which is the opposing sign of Leo. So my outward facing identity is, I don't know, like balanced with the Leo. My rising sign being Aquarius means that my descendant is Leo, and your descendant is all about kind of like what you're attracted to, like what partners, you know, like sometimes about the part of yourself that you need to like embody more in a way. And so it makes sense that I was drawn to this person who embodied Leo energy. But I saw definitely the dark side of not being single-minded and not being anchored fully in your truth, and kind of just being like whipped around by the currents of, you know, the wind, the sea, like whatever is pushing you around is bringing you really into a space of not so much strength. You think you have more power and control because you have this like social capital, or you have this, what do they call it, clout or whatever. And you think that leverage is going to protect you and serve your goals. But that's not really how it works, because you just come more and more into this energy of self-betrayal, and you start becoming more and more repulsive. Or is that the opposite of attractive? Repulsive, yeah. And that's the last thing you want to do, and then it triggers you to try to fix it even more. And there's lots of people I've seen this pattern in, but it was very painful to see it so intimately and closely up front. And I was very much wanting to learn from and respected the Leo energy that I saw. And so it was just very confusing and frustrating, and heartbreaking to see people struggle with their self-love in a way that leads to betrayal, not only of the self but of the people around you. Like, there's just nothing good about it. It's like fire gone wild. It just burns everything down. But you're powerful, and if you can direct these things and then support yourself in it and feel fully confident in the process, like, you don't need to control everything, you don't need to know everything, you just need to know what you feel called towards, and just do it. Like, don't think so much. You're not even an air energy. Like, you are all go, all life force, all raw. Well, speaking of Michael Jackson energy, you just push it forward. Yeah. He did a lot of things that, where he lived, in some senses, kind of like a child, and people made all kinds of assumptions based off of his behavior about who they think he is, but they don't really know him that well. And so, like, the people in your life, no matter who they are, in the grand scheme of things, they don't know you that well. Nobody spends 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with you besides you. So you really are the ultimate authority on all of this. Okay, so I'm Aquarius. My descendant is Leo. My ex was a Leo. And I think that my fiance is not a Leo sun sign, but he's got that energy in a sense. And for some reason I had this thing coming through about, like, he is Michael Jackson and I am Prince. And obviously there's, like, a lot of bleeding over, crossover, whatever. But as, like, Michael Jackson really values, like, collaboration and people and like building up and giving them what they need to improve their lives. And it's like very it's very relational. I mean, obviously not to say that Prince is not relational, but he's more like, I want to control every little aspect of everything that I do. I have this particular vision. I've got this almost kind of like stoic energy about it, and I'm gonna wear all the hats, and I'm gonna play all the instruments, and I'm gonna do something no one's ever seen before. And then, Michael Jackson does definitely value being a pioneer and, like, trying new things, and he does that. But then he also takes this level of humility and this level of, like, feedback from the people around him. And it's very valuable and awesome. And, while I feel that my partner is in a healthier expression of that Leo energy than some other people I've known. It's not perfect, and I definitely see him struggle with being so relationally focused and so, yeah. I mean, I honestly, especially historically, I don't know, like Michael Jackson was more of a people-pleasing energy. Prince is kind of a diva. I mean, again, they both are in a certain way, but you know. Okay, so I felt like there was somewhere deeper that was going, but I only have so much battery on my phone right now, and so I'm feeling guided to prioritize things in a certain way. I know I've pulled one card in 45 minutes. Welcome. I'm going to be doing a little bit of breaking down the details of what we're talking about right now with this deck here. This deck I have a very similar feeling about experience with as I did with this reading this week. I got it and I was like, this feels dense, this feels heavy, this feels controversial, this feels like I could spend years processing, interpreting, like, processing this. And Spirit was just like, no, just go. Because that's part of the energy, just go. Michael Jackson was very much a lover of Jesus. This is the biblical tarot deck that I was originally introduced to by Molly of, I think she goes by the Daily Bread these days, and originally I believe she was under the Real Housewives of Tarot back in the day. So Spirit, please, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Freya. Thank you, Folly. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your protection. Please help me to show Leo the messages that they need to see here in order to integrate this actionable advice about action. Ooh, the Tower. Okay, so something big is going to shift in your life. You know you need a rebirth. You know you need a restart. You know that you're built on shaky foundations at the moment. You want to knock it over. You're going to knock it over. You have the potential to. Awesome. This is the Tower of Babel in this deck. And so the Tower of Babel, I remember that story being about communication and being about languages. Like somewhere in that story, we went from all speaking the same language and having like a universal understanding of one another, and then we all got flung into like different linguistic, dialectic groups. So let the tower fall. Let the separation begin. Let the separation come in. Let the disconnection come in. Let the misunderstandings come in. And they will be the force that moves this tower energy forward in your life, that creates this change and this rebirth that you're hoping and needing and wishing for. It's the card 16, 1, 6, 1 plus 6 is 7. This is like crown chakra energy, connecting the heavens and the earth, buffalo. It's coming into the heart. Oh my goodness, all week I've been processing this stuff. Leo is associated with the heart, spine, and upper back. And all of the fascia around all of that stuff has been speaking to me this last week. Like, I got back in touch with it, and it's very uncomfortable, but I can tell it's beneficial, useful. It's helping me to get more aligned into the position that I am best suited for, that I belong in. The pattern, you know, you're born, you have these codes of like your potential. There's different ways it can express itself, but there are certain like higher ideals of how your body can express itself. And the more and more you tune yourself, literal tuning forks, yoga, meditation, prayer, whatever tools you use to get more tapped in, tuned into your inner guidance and inner wisdom, that helps you to support your rod energy, that helps you to support your supportive energy, that helps you to build and hold your child energy. And everything can organize around the central channel of your spine, your heart, your upper back fascia, I feel like, is just very impacted by that central channel moving around. And so, and also everybody has all this upper back tension that's like pulling them out of alignment. Literally getting physically in alignment helps you to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually in alignment. Getting spiritually in alignment will actually help you to get more into physical alignment. So both things are important. You know what actions to take that will help bring you more into the balance, bring you more into this pattern that is aligned with your highest self. I'm actually gonna pull from the study guide. This is also quite a easy, brief type of guidebook. Okay, let's see, 16 the Tower, page 15. Tower of Babel, upright meaning, sudden disruption, collapse of pride or ego, chaos and destruction, forced change and new perspectives, divine intervention. Okay, so if you don't do this for yourself right now, Spirit will do it for you, and it will be ugly and difficult. Okay? So I pushed this reading back and back and back. I need more time. I need it to be more clear. I need it to be easier. I need it to, whatever. And I'm just pushing it. And it's actually getting harder and harder and harder to synthesize these downloads and put them together into a message, because I'm pushing it to the last minute. So I'm getting this energy of like, this is your last chance. This is your last shot. Not to change your life for the better, because Spirit will do that in the end for everybody anyways, in enough time, given enough time. But if you want to take control of yourself and your own life, this is the last call. This is your last shot. Go now. Go. Stop thinking about it. Just do. Just do. This fire energy can be sexual. It can be financial. It can be creative. It can maybe have something to do with your career. Again, you know. Okay. I was gonna pull even more cards than that, but I feel like that really gave us a lot. This deck is just, the art on it is so breathtakingly beautiful. Forget how, controversial the subject matter is and everything. If you love it, you love it. If you hate it, you hate it. And it's time to embrace that kind of energy and find your niche and create the world that you are meant to create in this world. There's so much card glare. They're so pretty and glossy, but sometimes that has its downsides, right? Okay, so, because this is all about action, it's less about communication, I'm gonna give you an actionable step that I believe will open up for you whatever other action you're being called into right now, because your vessel is your body. There's so many things I could go into with that, but I'm going to share with you something that has really changed the game for me physically. And so I'm going to go through this real fast and I'll have you practice it yourself. Maybe I'll make like a shorter video about it later. But basically, I want you to take your right leg, cross it in front of your left leg. Then I want you to take your right hand, put it in your armpit, cross your other hand over to your other shoulder. Then I'm going to have you turn to your left, look to your right, take your tongue, push it around in your right cheek till you find a tight spot. And you're going to be doing some nice deep breaths there. I am going to make a whole video about that, in fact, because I think that you might enjoy it. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I will see you next time.